Hi everyone, my name's Abby. Today I will be doing my mini lesson on reading comprehension. So the Common Core standard that I will be using is for first grade, and it'll be that they are able to retell stories including key details and demonstrate understanding of their central message or lessons. So I'm choosing to read The Loose Tooth today with my students. And for my materials, I will be using this chart. I called it the beginning, middle, end chart. And so it's pretty much just going through the story and talking about the beginning of the book, the middle of the book, and the end of the book. So just going over the basics of what happened in each of those sections so that they can remember that. And then before we start our lesson, we'll also be talking about the story, The Little Red Riding Hood, which is what we talked about previously to this lesson. And then at the end of our lesson, I will be having my students fill out the beginning, middle, end chart themselves on a book that they read in their reading workshop time. So that's what I'll be doing today, and I hope you enjoy. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Good morning, first graders. It's so nice to see all of you guys here with me today. Today for our reading lesson, we're going to be talking about reading comprehension. Do you guys remember talking about this yesterday? Yep. What book did we read? It's up here if you need a hint. You're right, The Little Red Riding Hood. So we focused on reading comprehension. Does anybody remember what we did? What did we talk about, first graders? You're right. We tried to retell the stories and include some of the key details. And we wanted to make sure that we understood the message of the book. What else did we talk about? Did we talk about characters and the setting? You're right. So we're going to go over this chart as a reminder of what we did yesterday. So for the beginning of the book, we saw Little Red Riding Hood going to visit her sick grandmother and bring her food. So here's Little Red Riding Hood and there's grandmother. So those are two of the characters that we saw. Then in the middle, the big bad wolf pretended to be her grandmother. So here's our big bad wolf dressed up as grandmother. So that's another character. And does anybody remember what happened at the end? You're right. The woodcutter came and scared away the wolf and saved grandmother and Little Red Riding Hood. So what was the setting in this story? Yep, let me go get the pictures. So we had the woods on the way to grandmother's house and then grandmother's house. So that was what we talked about in Little Red Riding Hood. So today, class, we're going to be talking about a different book and reading a different book. So I'm going to change the title. Today's title will be The Loose Tooth. Sounds interesting. Do any of you guys have loose teeth? Yep, that's pretty cool. So we're going to read The Loose Tooth by Lucinda George, and it's illustrated by Betsy Day. So while we're reading this, I want you guys to really pay attention to the beginning, middle, and end of the book, because once we're done, we're going to take all of this off and we're going to fill it out for the loose tooth. So make sure you're paying attention, because if you are, you might be able to come up and help fill out the board. So let's begin. The loose tooth. Kate had a loose tooth. Her tooth was very loose. Kate played with her tooth, but it did not come out. "Don't play with your tooth," said Kate's mom. "Eat your breakfast." "I want my tooth to come out," said Kate. "Your tooth will fall out," said Mom. Kate wiggled her tooth, but it did not fall out. Kate brushed her teeth after breakfast. She wanted her tooth to come out. She wanted it to come out now. She brushed and brushed. She brushed her loose tooth, but it did not fall out. Kate went to school. She played with her tooth at school. "Don't play with your tooth," said Kate's teacher. Kate played with her tooth at lunch. She wiggled it and wiggled it. "Don't wiggle your tooth," said Ben. "I want to eat my lunch." Kate went home. Her brother played with his blocks. Kate played with her tooth. "It's time to eat," said Mom. "Come and have some soup." Kate had some soup. She said, "Now I want an apple, a big green apple." Kate took a big bite of her apple. What do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think so? Let's see. "Look, Mom," Kate said. "Look at my tooth now." What happened to her tooth? Did it come out? You're right. She took a bite of the apple and it came right out. Okay, so now that we've finished this book, why don't we take a look at the beginning, middle, and end? Should we take off the parts of the Little Red Riding Hood? Okay, so I think I am going to need some help with this. So let's think back to the beginning. Does anybody know what happened at the beginning of the book? You're right. Kate had a wiggly tooth. All right. Did she want that tooth to come out? Yup. So let's go put that on the beginning. Does anybody want to come put the picture of our wiggly tooth up on the board? All right, come on up. All right, good job. So that is what we have in the beginning. So what do you guys think happened in the middle? Do you remember? Were you paying attention? You're right. Kate would not stop wiggling her tooth. She wiggled it everywhere. All right, who would like to come put this up? Okay, come on up. All right. So what picture? I have this picture. Would somebody like to come put it up? Okay, come on up. All right, so let's put that right there. And now I have 6 spots because when I think back in the book, there were some places that she wiggled her tooth where everybody told her, "Stop wiggling your tooth, Kate." Does anybody remember some of those places? I have 6 of them. Okay, who would like to come put the first one up? All right, we have eating breakfast. Good job. And then what was another one? Brushing her teeth. You're right. And then what do we have? At school. Good job. And then do we have at lunch? Who wants to come put this one up there? Okay, come on up. All right, good job. And where else did we have? At playtime. Come on up and put it on the board. All right, and the last one, where was it? At dinner. You're right. Good job. Okay, so now that we have the beginning where Kate had a wiggly tooth that she wanted to come out, in the middle, the wiggly tooth that Kate wouldn't stop pulling on, and now the end. What happened at the end? Does anybody remember first grade? You're right. She took a bite out of an apple and her tooth came out. Good job. Who would like to come put that up here? All right, so there is the end. And then we have the picture of our apple with her tooth. So let's also put that on our board. Now, what do you guys think a message might have been for this story? What do you think? Patience. You're right, because if we keep wiggling our tooth when somebody tells us to stop, then we aren't being very patient. And sometimes, in order for something to happen, we just have to wait and let it be. And guess what? When Kate was patient and when she let it be, after she took the bite out of her apple, out came her tooth. Okay, so now the last thing we are going to do, first graders, is we're going to head back to our spots, and I'm going to have you guys get out your book for your reader's workshop this week. And you're going to sit at your spots and read it to yourselves quietly. And then at the end, you are going to make this chart. So it says beginning, middle, and end. So we sectioned it off. So if you would like, you can look at my chart for an example. But I would like you first graders to write sentences or draw some pictures. Maybe even both if you would like. But if you're really struggling, you can draw pictures. But please try to sound out your words and write sentences. I will be around to help you guys out if you need it, but otherwise, you guys can use all of the pretty colors that you have and you are going to make your own beginning, middle, and end chart. And I know you guys are going to do so well on it. All right, bye, first graders.